From 1971 to 1983, Craftsman sold the Emerson-produced commercial drill press. These commercial drill presses were produced at the same time that standard drill presses were being produced. And while many of the parts can be found on eBay and other sources, the hardest part to get for this drill press has been the feed return spring, until now. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. And in this video, we're going to talk about the feed return spring for the commercial drill press. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. So this is a Craftsman Emerson commercial drill press. And it's real easy to tell the difference between a standard and a commercial drill press from a couple of different things. One is the table. And the commercials usually said commercial on them, or they may say heavy duty. The head casting has a split down the center. The feed stop bracket is much beefier. It's cast iron. And there are 3 set screws on the left side of the head. Most of the markings would be in yellow. The scale is in 32nds of an inch instead of 1/16 of an inch. The hub has a knob on the end of it. And there is a pinion take-up between the hub and the head. These are the model numbers that are known for the commercial drill presses, and again they were produced from 1971 to 1983. And this is a Craftsman Emerson standard drill press. So this is not a commercial model. Notice the feed stop bracket is not cast iron. There is no split in the head. There is no knob on the hub. And there's no pinion take-up. The table is just a standard table. So now that we've covered the basic differences between the two, this is an OEM spring for a Craftsman commercial drill press. We'll go over the specifications in a minute. And this is a newly produced replacement spring for the Craftsman commercial drill press. They are the same length, the same diameter, and they have roughly the same number of coils. They are both right-hand wound, made out of music wire. The overall length is about 6 5/16 of an inch. Here are the specifications. So I'm going to be selling these over on eBay, along with the other springs that I've been selling for quite some time. This is a Craftsman King Sealy spring, and there's the tension knob, and you can see how it fits in there on the dog leg. And this is a Craftsman Emerson, and that's for the standard Emerson. So you can see the size difference for the commercial models. They're longer. So on the commercial model drill presses, they have a head take-up. That's why they have the split head. And this can be adjusted by compressing the head with the top and bottom set screws or expanding the head with the middle set screw. So we're going to zero this drill press to remove and install the spring. We're using a 1/4 inch hex Allen wrench, and we're just going to back out the top and the bottom set screw. And we're going to back out the center set screw as well. And depending on your drill press, you may have to play with this, moving it in and out of the drill press head to get a free-flowing coil. Next, we're going to remove the knob that's on the hub. And this will expose the roll pin and the end of the spring. At this point, what we need to do is let the tension out of the spring. To do this, make sure that the coil is unlocked and grab on to the chuck and then pull out on the hub and rotate it away from you. And then push it back in. If you're getting any binding in the coil, then you just need to adjust that center screw on the left side. Here I'm just expanding the head a little bit by turning that screw in. Here I'm tightening it down a little bit to expand the head a little bit. That way the quill's free flowing. So again, we rotate it away from us. And as we do that, we should be able to get the quill all the way down and it not have any spring tension pulling it up. What's holding the quill in when we remove the hub will be the feed stop collar. So now I'm going to use a 1/4 inch punch, and I'm just going to drive the roll pin through the hub. And I'm just going to follow the roll pin with the punch and capture the end of the spring with the end of the punch. And then the roll pin will fall out. There it is. And then we can just remove the punch. So the spring is still captured inside the drill press on another roll pin, and we can just pull out the hub. And what's holding the quill in the drill press is that feed stop collar. Also notice on the pinion there should be a fiber washer. At this point we can remove the feed stop collar. So to remove the collar itself, just make sure you're holding the bottom of the quill at the chuck, because when you remove it, the quill is going to want to fall out. And I'm trying to do two things at one time. So there goes the quill. And notice on the feed stop collar there is a shoe inside there, so don't lose that. So like I said, the spring is captured on the inside of the head casting. This is looking at it from the bottom, and you can see that roll pin that it's captured on. So that's what we're going to need to hook the spring on when we install it. And to remove it, we're just going to push up on the spring and it will come right off of that roll pin. You can see it. This is another angle through the pinion bore. And there's your roll pin that the spring is captured on. So all we're going to do is we're just going to reach up in there and push up on the spring, and it'll come off of that roll pin, and there it is. So the last part that we're going to talk about real quick before we get to the installation is the pinion take-up. So this is an eccentric bearing, meaning that its center hole is off center of the outside diameter. So you can see it's thicker and thinner on different parts of it. What happens is you rotate it and it moves the pinion closer or further from the gear rack on the back side of the quill. So we'll reinstall that, and then we're going to install the springs. We're just going to reach inside and make sure it hooks over the roll pin on the inside, just like we did when we were taking it out. And we'll just tug on it to make sure it's captured. Next, we're going to install the quill. And as we slide it up in there, we opened up the cover on top, and we're going to need to rotate the pulley just a little bit to get the splines on the spindle to engage. Then we're going to lock the quill at about the halfway point. About right there. Next, we'll install the feed stop collar and the adjustment nut if you have it. Once we have both of those on there, we can go ahead and unlock the quill and lower it down, and it'll rest on that feed stop collar. With the quill unlocked, make sure you have the fiber washer on the pinion, and then slide it over the spring and into the pinion bore. Then you're going to have to lift up on the quill a little bit to get the gear rack to engage with the gears that are on the pinion, and then push the hub all the way in. So if you're getting any binding, you're going to need to adjust the pinion take-up. For that, you need a 1 3/4 inch wrench. And you can just rotate that eccentric bearing forward or backward until it's loose enough and it's not binding on the quill. Next, you're going to need a little hook. And we're just going to hook the loops on the end of the spring and pull it out towards us, and then slide the roll pin in from one side or the other through the holes, through the spring, and then back through the other end of the hub. Once it's captured completely inside the hub and the spring is captured, go ahead and give it a tug. Make sure that you've got some tension there. We're good. You can go ahead and put that cap back on. And make sure you've got the quill unlocked. And we're going to go ahead and adjust the feed stop collar at its lowest point with the quill all the way extended. We can go ahead and close the top cover. And now we're ready to set the tension. To do that, grab on to the bottom of the chuck with your left hand, and with your right hand, pull out, rotate the quill towards you, and then push it back in. Just like this. And as you do this, you're building up tension in the spring. Once you've got it all the way up, and it's retaining it itself, it's not requiring you to do anything to it other than let go of the handles. Then you're going to just want to adjust the tension until it's snappy. Right now it's a little sluggish. So that's a pretty decent snap. I think I want to go one more rotation. So I'm rotating it 180 degrees. I like that forward feed handle to be about 90 degrees to the drill press. So now we are going to adjust the pinion take up. And all we're doing is rotating that eccentric bearing so that the pinion is moving closer or further away from the quill until you get a nice smooth travel with the quill and there's no binding. But there's no play in it really either. And it's kind of hard to see here because where I've got the drill press sitting right now, it's not perfectly level on my floor, but I am checking to make sure that there's not a whole lot of play there. If you've got it too tight, then you'll know it's not going to move very smooth. If you've got it too loose, then it's not the end of the world. But just finding that sweet spot is what we're trying to do here. I'm just tweaking it a little here. This is one of the reasons why you choose the commercial drill press over the standard, because you have all of these adjustments you can do to make it a more accurate drill press. So now we're going to adjust the head, and we're just going to loosen up. And you can see if I loosen the center bolt, which is supposed to expand the head, if we loosen it, it's allowing the head to compress. So once I've got that set where I want it, then I'm going to tighten down the top and the bottom screws. And they're not going to be super tight. If they're even a quarter too tight, you get that, where it doesn't want to return snappy. So we can try to expand it a little more, or we can just adjust that bottom screw. Back it out just a quarter of a turn. And there you go. And that's how you remove and install the feed return spring in a commercial drill press. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the description below the video, there will be links for the 3 known owner's manuals for the commercial drill presses, as well as some other good information for you. If you haven't already, check out my YouTube channel. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.